The truth about being a YouTuber is sometimes it sucks.
Yes, it truly does. And it sucks because sometimes you feel like, you put in money into this, buying these gadgets, etc., and you're putting in resources, and you feel like your channel isn't going anywhere. And yes, we know to be consistent. I even talk about it, intentional consistency. But sometimes the mental strain of being a YouTuber
Yeah.
can be a lot to do with.
So the title of this video is The Truth About Being a YouTuber. So when you were watching YouTube, before you were creating videos, what did you use YouTube for?
Well, I always use YouTube to learn, primarily just about anything. Like if I was going for job interviews, I'd learn about, you know, how to actually excel at interviews. So it's always been useful, and also when you just want to relax. And it seems so easy when you're watching a YouTuber. It seems like, oh, okay, how hard can this be?
Yeah.
And then you get into it and you figure out that yes, some aspects of YouTube it's easy, but some aspects are just really, really hard.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the whole point of creating this video in itself was just a bit of a fly on a wall to see people having a natural conversation. And even just creating the video, there's lots that go on behind it, like creating some bullet points to actually talk about as well. So you have that structure, because when I use YouTube, I used it for self-improvement. I used it to fix my car. I used it to fix the washing machine. I used it for entertainment. And when you're watching these videos, they feel like easy to create until you start doing it yourself, because a lot of people just say, just press record. And you think, okay, you just get the camera and you press record. But then, like you said, you have that mental side to actually creating content, publishing content. So if we go from using YouTube, what made you make that decision to start creating rather than consuming content?
Well, it's another truth about YouTube is the fear you feel before starting, right? So for a long time, I wanted to actually create content on YouTube, but I was too scared to start.
Yeah.
So then I just said, you know what? Stop being so scared, take a chance, see what happens. And in life, like you said the other day, you only have so many heartbeats. And that is so true. And sometimes we think that we have an endless amount of time, but we don't. So I said, let me just get started with this. And I enjoy communication. I enjoy marketing. I think that social media is amazing in that you can reach so many people and you can share your message. So for me, I thought, let me try to share what I'm learning.
Okay.
So why did you start a YouTube channel?
I think it's I naturally feel creative. So sometimes it can be an outlet. So that's one reason. Another reason is it's a legitimate way to create some passive income, because I saw people creating videos, looking at these big YouTubers, for example, Ali Abdal, and I just saw like how these people have created these videos and they are giving information, they are actually giving something of value to help people, but then they can earn money or monetize their knowledge, their information. Even creating this video now, I think in the beginning when I was creating videos, I felt much like a presenter. And I felt like everything had to be perfect. Even, for example, coughing in the video, I felt like, okay, now it's ruined and I have to start it again. And I think that defeats the purpose of YouTube. I think there's a place for having curated content, which is highly edited and it keeps people engaged. But then there's also space for content which is just natural, like this. So yeah, that's one of the reasons. Seeing other people create content and thinking, why can't I do the same? So creating that content, and also the fact that YouTube is the second most viewed website in the world. They get something like 50 million views, I think it's a month, which is 50 billion views, which is crazy when you think about it. So creating these videos gives a way to be part of something. And also it's quite interesting because you are documenting your life in an indirect way. Even if you are not vlogging, and if you are doing product reviews or travel reviews, in 10 years' time, you can look back on your videos and see how you sounded, how you looked, what you talked about. So it's a way that's being documented. Yeah.
I think that with being a YouTuber, you have some people who say only do it as a hobby. And some people say, you can make money off YouTube. And we believe that, if you want to make money off YouTube, why not?
What do you think about people that say just do it for fun, just do it as a hobby?
I think it really is the individual's choice at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because the reality is that you have bills to pay, right?
Yeah.
And if you only do it for fun, then you have to obviously have a different source of income.
Yeah.
But if you see it as a business, right, you can still have fun while operating YouTube as a business.
Yeah, I also think that if you see it as a hobby, it can lower your expectations and it can lower the pressure. So on one hand, if you are purely just doing it as a hobby, then I think you are in a very lucky position where you can not worry about money and finances, if you can just do it purely as a hobby and not to worry about getting any income back from it. Because sometimes it could be a hobby. Like people read or they go to the gym. So instead of spending that time doing that, you can create content and you're getting to know about filmmaking and editing. So that's one aspect. But I think that if you have the mindset of how can I monetize this? Because even if you're doing it as a hobby, YouTube is still showing adverts and ads on your content. So you are not earning any money from it if you purely see it as a hobby which you don't want to take to the next level. So how do you take it to the next level? How do you get monetized on YouTube?
Well, I do have another monetized channel. You have your monetized YouTube channel. And I think that, to get monetized, you need 4,000 watch hours for long form and you need the 1,000 subscribers. But I think that a lot of the times people also think that you get a huge amount of money via YouTube AdSense, okay?
Yeah.
And I think they'll be surprised that with small YouTubers, it's quite difficult to live off AdSense money alone. And that is why so many people diversify their income.
Yeah, that's a real truth there. I think some people do think that. I mean, I kind of thought that. I thought that when I got monetized, I would be earning at least, I would say, a couple of $100 at least. But the amount was so tiny. Yeah, so I don't know. I think I was a little bit in denial. It would have been nice to have been monetized and then be making hundreds, if not thousands of dollars from AdSense, because if you think about it, so many adverts are being shown and you always have to watch the adverts or click skip. So I thought that I would be making a lot of money from AdSense. So the truth is that you won't, unless you have a lot of viral videos.
And also if you have a high CPM, and it also depends where your audience is watching from.
Yeah.
So there are so many factors when it comes to how much you will be earning. Yeah. And then, often you think, okay, when you hear of people selling courses, etc., it can be viewed so negatively, right?
Yeah.
But I have come to understand that if the person is selling information that is valuable, right, and packaging it in a way that you don't have to search the whole of the internet to find information, what makes it so wrong and so bad to sell a course?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think some people think it's a bit scammy. that you are selling a course and you should be giving this information for free. But, the truth is we all have bills to pay and you are giving this information out there. Sometimes you can have imposter syndrome and you feel like I'm giving this information, other people are giving better information and they have a bigger channel. But then if you just look at these bigger YouTubers, how did they become big? I think they understood psychology. I think they understood that if I wanted to grow this channel and actually make real money from this every month, and I'm not talking about being a millionaire, I'm talking about enough money to quit your job and create content and work remotely and have a better lifestyle, quality of life. So to do that, you have to just overcome that and think about, okay, how can I make money from YouTube? So the truth is, you can't make enough money to sustain yourself from AdSense alone.
Unless you are a channel that has millions of views, etc.
Yeah.
And this is also why so many YouTubers get into brand deals and sponsorships, etc. Now, you spoke about imposter syndrome, and I think that is one huge truth about being a YouTuber. I think why I put off starting a YouTube channel for so long was because of imposter syndrome, feeling like, who are you to be talking about this particular topic,
Yeah.
etc. And then, you get to a point where you think, well, why not you? But there's a long journey from moving from the point where you feel like, oh, I shouldn't be talking about this because I'm not an expert at it, to, okay, let's just go ahead, stop overthinking, stop procrastinating, stop analyzing your every decision and just move forward.
Yeah.
So the imposter syndrome, let's talk about that because it's huge here on YouTube.
Yeah,
YouTuber.
I think I overcame it by seeing people in my niche creating videos when they didn't have any experience in this particular niche. And I just realized that they had the mindset of, let me just try this and see what happens.
Yes.
There's no expectations. So they just keep creating the content. And I think it's so important to be consistent, but to be realistic as well. And to think about, okay, if you're creating content, video every week or 2 videos every week and nothing is happening, think outside the box, apply for those brand deals, create that small course, even before you have a big following. Because if it does explode, you have those things ready. And also, you never know, you could get lucky, because I think a lot of things in life are about luck. Think about when you go for a job, right? You can be qualified, but it could just be being in the right time and the right place, because you could be up against other people who are also qualified, but for some reason the interviewer clicks with you and you may have not gone for that job or applied for that job because you may have thought, okay, I'm not as qualified. So I think having the mindset that, okay, what's the worst that could happen? Okay, I put all of this effort in, I spend all of this money, and it doesn't work. Then so what? You can think about, let me go outside the box, let me apply to these other companies, let me try using affiliate links and trying different things. And if that doesn't work, then just thinking about the skills that you've learned. Yeah, so the truth about being a YouTuber is it sucks. I've been doing this for 2 years. Yes, I have a monetized channel, but it's only at around close to 12,000. And it's not making enough money per month for me to justify realistically about the thousands of hours that I have put into the channel, researching, creating the videos, editing the sound, creating the thumbnails, uploading, the description, everything involved in it, and the mental side as well. Thinking, checking, hoping that this one video that will explode, reading the comments about people saying, okay, this video is amazing, your channel should be bigger than it actually is. Okay, fine, but then why isn't that happening? So I get to a point where I do get fed up because I could be spending my time doing something else. So in a way, I am kind of shifting away from the aspect of being so focused that I want to create this as a business. Yes, I do, but for me personally, I'm kind of, for my own mental health, is to kind of shift and have some distance and then just creating it almost on the side, and rather than having that pressure to create these videos.
But you know, when it comes to looking at analytics as a YouTuber, we can become so obsessive with it, right? But you are really good when it comes to not looking at your analytics so often.
Sometimes, not all the time. I mean, when I first release a video, it's nice, to have that. And I think sometimes, especially if I've created a video that I like, that I've put a lot of effort into, it can be soul destroying. You've created this piece of art, right? You put yourself into it, you want people to connect to it, and then it doesn't do well. And that's why I thought about just creating these videos between me and you, and just having a chat about YouTube and the certain topics about YouTube and the reality and the truth about YouTube that people don't talk about, and the things that you don't see. Because when it comes to creating content, sometimes you can be so particular. You can be particular about your background. If you have something in the background, or, in even the way you look or the way that you sound. And I think sometimes it's just about creating the content and distancing yourself once you've published it. So it's almost like buying a lottery ticket, and you have to buy a lottery ticket to even be in with a chance of winning. So in a way, it's like that. You're creating a video. At the end of the day, it's something that you are interested in. So, you never know what could happen.
I think that's the thing about YouTube versus a structured career or structured job. With your job, right, you understand your tasks, what needs to be done, and you have a set salary at the end of the month, right? Obviously, you can be made redundant, etc. But with YouTube, even when you are monetized, the AdSense money goes up and down. It fluctuates so much.
Yeah.
It's not very dependable. So you have to constantly reinvent your channel to an extent, think about other ways to diversify your income. You have to constantly experiment. And I'm not saying that YouTube sucks all the time. No, because normally I'm really optimistic about YouTube. But I am saying that it is often harder than you think it's going to be. And it's more about the mental strain of it. And the fact that you are sitting here putting yourself out for the world to see. I mean, how did you manage to get over, judgment from other people? Like, you are good with that as well.
I don't actually think about that.
Yeah.
I don't think about I'm putting myself out for millions to see, because millions aren't watching it. It will probably be a few people that are watching it. They're not going to be millions. And even if they are, so what? For me, the biggest thing is that when you have the experience that we do, for example, in our backgrounds, so when it comes from your previous experience, you have lots of experience when it comes to media and talking and creating engaging content with people. So we have that experience. But then when you see people that don't have that experience doing really well, it makes me really confused, and it makes me a little bit bitter sometimes, to be honest, because you see people doing well and you get frustrated. I'm a human at the end of the day, because I thought, I have this experience, and when I look at my channel, the content is objectively good. Sometimes I would think, okay, no, it's not good, but when I take stock of it and I look at it objectively, the stuff on there is really good. But then compared to other people, they are doing so much better, and it feels like they are winging it. And it can lead to a lot of frustration, because in the normal working environment, you will get validation for your work. You will do a good job. Your manager will say, wow, you did a good job. Your colleagues will say you did a good job. You know you did a good job, and you have validation, and you have a clear progression. You've completed a project, you finished the task, you did it well, then you move on to the next task. With this, it feels the validation is the number of views, or the amount of money that you are making, if through a course or selling personal coaching. So if that is not going well, it doesn't validate what you are creating. So you have to have internal validation and think, right, I created 3 videos this week. I'm on track. I've created a course, so I'm on track. But then when you are not getting that validation, at some point, you have to ask yourself, what is the point? And that's when I think, don't give up completely, have it on the side and keep going. And I think sometimes it's just about luck. I think it's about luck. I think if you have the right topic or the right thumbnail at the right time, it can explode, and then it can lead people to look at your other videos. So you have all those videos there ready. But like I said, it's very, very difficult when you compare your work life and your experience to then creating content on YouTube. I mean, I've created content on other social media. Have you thought about going on other forms of social media?
Well, when I see TikTok and I see how people can have millions of views on TikTok, and then when I go to their YouTube channel and I see that they only have like sometimes less than 1,000, I think, wow, TikTok does such a good job at creating visibility for these creators. So I also understand, shiny object syndrome when you're a YouTuber. If it doesn't work out, you're looking at the next thing. But sometimes maybe looking at the next thing is good. So it's always that internal fight that you have. Should you quit being a YouTuber? Should you continue? Yeah. They say it takes about 3 years for your YouTube channel to get off the ground. Okay. Who knows? But the whole point is that, your truth of being a YouTuber can be different to what my truth is and what your truth is. And that's why it's important to have these conversations, because we are like YouTubers in our 40s. I've had a career before that. He has his career. And trying something different, something new, it has pros and cons. And we're not saying being a YouTuber sucks all the time. But we also don't want to have the narrative of that, it's sunshine and daisies and whatever the quote is all day, every day. Because it's not. Even though I have the time to create content, I've set out to try to be a full-time YouTuber. Sometimes you have the time, but you aren't in the right mindset to even create content. Yeah. So it's quite tough. But let us know in the comments, what do you think? What is your truth about being a YouTuber? This channel is all about YouTube. If that's something you want to learn more about, as I'm learning, then do subscribe. And let us know where you're watching from. Have a lovely day. Anything to say?
No, it'd be nice to hear from you. Like I said, these series of videos, it's just about being natural, because I think I'm a bit fed up of being so hyper-focused on creating the videos. So these are totally natural videos, just being genuine. And so, yeah, it'll be nice to know what has been your experience. First, are you... What?
Oh, I was just going to say that, sorry to interrupt. I was going to say, we are thinking of titling this Diary of a YouTuber. So let me know, what are your suggestions for this series?
Yeah, let me know. Are you thinking about creating a channel, firstly? Because you may not have even started. And why would you want to create a channel? So have a good day, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Bye.